What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another What's Sold on eBay video, the Hot 10 Bolo list for resellers. Brendan here, Dad Planet. If you're new, this is your first time, good having you. Welcome. Good to see you. If you're old, always a pleasure. You know I love you guys. So we're at the end of October here, into the fourth quarter grind, and this, I only do 4 a month, 4 What's Sold on eBay videos a month. So we cover every week of the month. This covers a 10-day period. So if you see my last What's Sold on eBay video, a 7-day period, I did about 4,000. This is a 10-day period. I also did about 4,000. So we're up, down, up, down, up, down, blah, 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 blah. The nice thing about this month of October, and I will show you how I did for the full month on the next screen, is if you're looking for a silver lining here, I didn't source as much as I did the month prior, and I didn't spend as much. So I guess if we're going to be stagnant, that's one positive thing to look at. So 39.68 in sales, 2,800 in net for the period of October 22nd through October 31st. I am sad to see Halloween go, but yeah, we're on to bigger and better things. So it was an okay last 10 days of the month, and quite frankly, the last 2 days of that month were really good. Excuse me. Or this would have been a lot worse. So here's how we did for the entire month of October. As you can see, 13,500. So we're down slightly over last month. Net sales 9,500. That's always the number that you want to pay attention to. You can see what my selling costs were, the taxes and government fees. So a slight increase on net over the previous month, which again is okay, because I sourced less, I spent less time in the stores, I spent less money. So what can I tell you? You know, we'll move on to the 10 Bolos here. I'm hoping one of you is going to find one of these in stores. And let me give a quick shout out, and I'm going to shout out a commenter here, Kasha, I believe, Kasha Cover. If that is not how I pronounce your name and I butchered it, I apologize. But she says, another awesome video. I learned new things from each of your videos. Thank you for sharing. Hey, shout out to you, Kasha. I really appreciate it. That's why I do it. Hoping to motivate you to take that trip to the store that you weren't going to take, or teach you something that you may not have known, so that when you're in the stores, you can find these items too, make a little bit of money. But I appreciate you, Kasha. Thanks for the comment. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the Bolos. Okay, now, this thing was broken. It did not work. I was able to test it in store, and it had a $9.99 price tag on it. So I tested it and it didn't work. There was a loud humming noise. There was something was going on. It looked like it would play a VHS. When I got home, it wouldn't even play the VHS. So non-working. The funny thing about this is, when I got in line to check out, I asked the manager, I said, you know, hey, there's a VCR over there that's you got priced for $10, but it doesn't work. I just tested it. It's not working. If you sell it to me for $2, I'll take it off your hands. She said, take it, $2. That's fair. We don't want to see it again. I said, I promise you I won't return it. I know the thing doesn't work. Don't worry about it. So I got it for $2. The model number on this Toshiba is SVF990. If you look at it, this thing looks like the inside of a pilot's cockpit. I mean, for an old VCR, like this thing looks way too sophisticated for anyone's blood. Like, what are these dials here? Like, this is crazy to me. But it wasn't working, and I still was able to sell it for $59.99. The buyer also paid $17.13 in shipping. So there's $77.12 all in before tax. Again, I only paid $2. The lesson here is, if this had been working, if it was fully functional, I think I might have priced it at around $500. I don't know if there has been a sales comparable in the last 90 days. If there was, I'll put it up on the screen. But this is a really rare find, and I knew it was worth taking a risk at $2 because of the potential part out value. So if somebody's got one in their possession, but they needed a certain part out of mine, you know, maybe they would be willing to swap the parts out on the one that they're purchasing here. So as you can see, I did not accept returns on this, and I very clearly stated that this is being sold as is, non-working, for parts and repair only, with no returns, will be packed well, which indeed it was. So $60 on a broken item don't be afraid to buy those items that are non-working. You know, if you feel like taking a risk on a very small spend, do it. That's what I did, and it worked. And the same thing occurred on the next one. So this is a Sony Discman. The model is D-15. It is like there's like no plastic. It's almost all completely metal. And if you look at the battery compartment, I wonder if I showed it. Yeah, okay, so it took a very specific battery. So, you know, again, taking the chance on the comparables that I had seen, and I'll put them on the screen, in store, I thought it would be worth taking a chance. So I got home, I took one of my generic AC adapters, plugged it in, and I couldn't get it to power up. It didn't matter. It still sold on a best offer for $67.49. I paid $3. I have $3.99 written down, but I don't think I paid that much. I think maybe it was around $2.99. But again, broken old tech still sells. So again, I didn't accept returns. Normally in my store, if you look at my store, I always 30-day returns, no questions asked, no big deal. But on certain items that I know are not working, I don't want someone to come back after the fact and say, well, you didn't say that it didn't work. I always disclose that up front. And again, won't power up, sold as is, non-working, same thing as the last one, and it still sold for $68. So yeah, two items that were like trash to me, somebody else's treasure. What can I tell you? And I'm largely in the money for $3.99. So what a way to sell an item. All right, so next one, I love this guy, Casper. This is from 1996, Trendmasters, a Casper candelabra. He is just super cool looking. This is definitely a Bolo, by the way. These sell very well, and I will show you what he looks like all lit up because he is just magical. Very, very cool. Very clearly working. Crystal blue eyes. And he sold for $44.99 with $9.90 in shipping. So the buyer is $54.89 all in before tax. I think this cost me $4.99. I can't remember. I bought it at the Goodwill that's like egregiously expensive, so I may have spent a little bit more, but $4.99 seems to be like my wheelhouse price for a lot of items like this. And sold before Halloween. I am not happy to see him go because I loved him, but then I am happy to see him go because I want the money for him. So very, very cute. If you see Casper in the wild, pick him up year-round because he will sell year-round. It is a Bolo for sure. So we'll move on to the next one, which is a ceramic Christmas tree. Okay, now this one was in decent condition. So the two things that were like kind of concerning to me were, one, the lights were almost impossible to try to remove. Like I couldn't get them out. I couldn't get the ones that were in the tree out. Two, they were missing around 15 to 16 lights altogether. So the buyer is going to have to fill in with the rest of the lights in their possession because I didn't have any to make it work. Now I held on to this for a very long time. I held on to it for almost a year. And you say, well, you know, you could have lowered the price and sold it quicker. This is true, but the way I run this eBay portion of my business is I buy and I wait for the right buyer, right? So I'm always building, and I'm trying to build inventory. Like I say, I'm trying to build inventory, but I hardly went to any stores in October. But anyway, the name of the game here is building your inventory and waiting for the correct buyer at the correct price to sell your items. That's how I manage it. So I believe this was, no, they paid full price. I thought it was best offer. So the buyer finally paid $80, $26.80 in shipping. So $106.79 all in. This cost me somewhere between $4.99 and $9.99. I'm more apt to say it was $9.99 because this was at the expensive Goodwill, and this was actually on a cart that had not come out yet. So I was peeking in the window at the carts that they were creating, and I saw it, and I knew that because there were other resellers in the store at the time that they would pounce on it. I sent one of the workers back very kindly to pull it off for me and get it for me. So they went back and got it, and I put it in my cart before anyone got to it. And that, you know, made me the winner in that round of cart wars at the thrift shops. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about when it's like free for all when the new carts come out. But anyway, this was 1970s Atlantic mold. It had a base, super cool. I have a million of these set up around the house during Christmas time. Like I decorate my house like a nutcase. It's a little bit much, but what are you gonna do? It only comes around once a year. So anyway, good sale. I'm happy with that. We'll move on to the next one. Another Sony item that I paid $2 for at an estate sale. And I don't think this was technically for sale because it didn't have a price on it, and it was like just on a random table underneath a lamp. And I thought, well, they're here to sell everything, so I'm just going to take this and see what they offer for it. And it could have been for sale, and they just didn't mark it. I don't know, but I took it and got it into my possession, and it sold for full price. So the model number on this one is EZ-5. It is a Bolo for sure. You could test it to make sure it works, and it did. So 40 bucks they paid, and then they paid $8.71 in shipping. So $48.69 they are all in before tax. And I did really well at this estate sale. So if you guys have been following me for any length of time, like the absolute vast majority of all of the items that I source come from thrift stores. I have only very recently started doing the garage sale and the estate sale thing in the interest of trying to build my inventory because of all of the things that I'm finding at the thrift stores being just so absolutely basic. So this was one of those items that, will it turn up at a thrift store? Yes, but 40 bucks on two at an estate sale, like that's kind of the name of the game here. So I was pleased with that, and the fact that it was in fact a Bolo just made it that much easier to sell. So I'm happy with that, and then we'll move on to the next one, which is another Goodwill find. Cinnabar from Este Lauder. I thought this smelled horrible. Not rancid horrible, but I just thought it smelled horrible. But if you like this scent and you are familiar with it, it probably smells beautiful on you. But I thought it was gross. Anyway, it sold for $89.99 with $8.25 in shipping, which seems a little bit high because I don't think it was a full pound, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. But $98.24. This lovely buyer is all in. And it cost me $2.99. This is an absolute Bolo Cinnabar from Este Lauder. So when you find it and it is in brand new condition, make sure you grab it because you're going to make a lot of money when you do. So I'm pleased with it. Don't know much about it other than it's still a very desirable scent. So yeah, what can I tell you? We'll move on to the next one. I think I found this at a thrift store as well. This is a vintage 1970s Craftsman solid state radio. The model number is 9333. It has a very colorful front to it, which I thought was pretty cool. And these things, the things built in the 70s solid state, built like tanks. Very, very, very strong. The antenna had no issues. It could be raised and lowered without issue. I always take pictures of the front, sides, back, up, down, top, bottom, all of that jazz. It opens up, as you can see, so you can look at the insides. And yeah, it worked fine, including the light. That's me pushing the light button right there. So it sold for full price, and but it took a while. Again, I priced my items a little bit higher, so I'm willing to wait a little bit longer for the correct buyer to come through. And that buyer found this item, so it's a win-win. $99.99, $22.55 to have it shipped. So they're $122.54 all in. I think I paid $6.99 for this item, and this is more likely to be found at an estate sale. So the fact that I found a radio like this inside a Goodwill that was still sitting on the shelves is pretty remarkable to me. But you know, you'd be in the right place at the right time, get a little bit lucky sometimes too. So yeah, that was great. We'll move on to the next one, which is Longaberger pottery, which is most certainly a Bolo. So this is the Woven Traditions style of dinner plates that they have. I think they are around 10 inches in diameter. This set of 4 was marked $6.99. If you look at my active inventory right now, you will see that I have a set of Longaberger Woven Traditions green bowls. That was also $6.99. I had these priced at what, 80, but I took a best offer of 65. So 65 bucks and $13.10 in shipping. So the buyer is $78.10 all in. Longaberger pottery, even though this Woven Traditions green color will sell maybe a little bit slower than the blue, it might go a little bit faster than the red. It is most certainly a Bolo. And again, I have the luxury of having Longaberger that was headquartered here in Columbus, so these are more likely to turn up in my area than other areas. But it was a worldwide, not worldwide, but you can buy it in every state. So so you will find these in thrift stores. So make sure you keep your eye out for it. You can. This is like what the pattern looks like. It looks like a little woven basket, right, in the Longaberger tradition. So so yeah, I was pleased with that because I don't do a whole lot of plateware. I packed this like an absolute tank. So if it arrives damaged, I will be really, really surprised. But it was worth it because $65 on $7 is a really nice return. So I'm kind of pleased with that. I'll take a picture to show you what the logo looks like right there. Longaberger Pottery stamp on there. Pretty cool. We'll move on to the next one, which is slightly more obvious than Longaberger. A North Face bag. So this pack was the Long Haul 30 rolling duffel bag, and it was in excellent condition, clean, especially on the interior, clearly pre-owned. But again, these things are really, really well made. So could somebody go to a store and spend $150 on brand new luggage? Yes. But when you know certain things are built to last, or you just absolutely fall in love with that one pack that you used to have, and that thing starts to go bad, you're going to look to replace it. So this is what happens in that instance. So this picture actually makes it look like it's not in decent condition, because you can see like scrape marks here, the tires, and this looks like a little bit of a hole. But I can assure you the bag was in excellent condition, and the buyer was pleased as well. So I think I took an offer on this one of $134.99. The buyer also paid $54.99 in shipping, right? That's me just waiting for the correct buyer. This could have been sold at $99, could have been sold at $50, right? But the buyer that I'm looking for and the buyer that I target paid $189.98 to get this in their possession, and the Goodwill that I purchased at that prices their luggage at $5.99. This was not marked up, so I got a steal of a deal on it. So keep your eye out for the oversized North Face bags, especially ones that have been retired or discontinued, because they usually end up in the Bolo category. So this one is no exception, and we're on to the last one. So we're in the fourth quarter, and I have committed to purchasing more new in-package items than I normally would. Most of my inventory is used inventory, but the new gift giving season is here. So so I picked this up even though it was marked $19.99, because again, the data on my eBay app told me to make the purchase. So I priced it at $149.99, and boom, that is what it sold for, with $21.84 shipping. So the buyer is $171.83 all in before tax. I paid $20. It is the Disney Princess Little People Magical Wand Palace for Cinderella. The lights and the sounds all worked, and it was singing to me all the way to FedEx, which is where I had it shipped. So that's going to be a fun one to transport if you are the FedEx buyer. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all I have for you. I hope your fourth quarter is going well. Again, incremental increases when you're selling a majority of used stuff that goes to an end user and it's not being purchased as a gift for another person. So, temper your expectations. That's what I've done for the month of October. If you are not subscribed yet, make sure you are subscribed. The bell notification icon. Smash the like button if you learned something or you liked what you see, or you just like listening to me babble about bolos all day. I'll take what I can get at this point. So, hey, leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. That's it. Dad Planet, Brendan here, and we'll see you in the next video.